Hey gang, this is Mike with Mr. No Fluff, and I'm gonna show you right now how to inspect a bike if you have zero experience in bikes. So what does that mean? That means that when I started doing this test pilot for you guys, I didn't know anything about bikes. When I bought my bike, just to even put a cup holder, which you see here, I paid REI $5 to install each one of these things on there for me, okay? Because A, I didn't have the tools, and B, I'm not a really technical guy in the sense that I know how to work with my hands. I've never done an oil change. I hardly know how to fix a tire, do any maintenance, construction. I don't know how to do any of those stuff, okay, guys? I usually hire people to do that. So if you have no experience in bikes, great news. The strategy that I'm teaching you in my book, you're not going to need any of this stuff because a couple of reasons. Okay, one of them is that if you're starting new, you don't want to be buying junkers. You're not trying to do fix and flips. That's too risky. Okay, what you're looking for is pretty bikes, etc. I explain it all in my book. But in this specific video, I want to explain some things you should be able to do with no experience when you go and spec the bike to pick up from a motivated seller. So whenever you go to the motivated seller's home, this is what I do, okay? Considering I don't know anything about bikes, and it hasn't done me wrong, okay? The very first thing I want to do is I want to inspect, visualize the frame. What is the frame? The frame is the metal part, okay? I want to quickly look at it and see if anything's broken on it, okay? Because that's one of the most important aspects of the bike is the frame. But unlike a car where you have all this plastic and stuff where you can't tell what it is, on a bike you can visually see it. And usually I'll sit on it, and if something's broken I immediately will know because, hey, it'll give away because the frame is what takes all my weight. Now, out of all the bikes I've looked at, none of them were ever broken because frames were made pretty sturdy, but that is the very first thing that I look for because without the frame, there's no bike. The second thing I look for is that is the wheels true. Now, before I didn't know what the word true was or anything like that. Simply put, I want to make sure that the rims are not bent because it's going to cost me like $65 to $75 to get it fixed, to get it repaired at the bike shop if they are bent. So first thing, the frame. Second thing, the rims, okay? Now, how do I check the rims? Very, very simple. Is that I just pick up the back end of the bike and I slowly spin the wheel, okay? Now, I don't spin it real fast like this because then I won't be able to see it. I just want to do 1.5 cycle or 2 cycles where it goes around twice slowly, okay? And when I do that, I notice to see if the wheels is rolling straight or is it wobbling, if it's going left to right. If that is the case, wobbling, then that's going to cost me a lot of money. And A, I'm not going to buy this bike, or B, I'm going to negotiate a lot to take that $75 off that's cost to repair it because that is an expensive repair. Now, the same thing I'll do with the front tire. I'll just pick it up. I'm not going to spin it real fast because I won't be able to tell. There will be too much force around the tires. But I'm going to spin it in a way that it turns around 1.5 to 3 times. That's it, okay? And it doesn't matter which way I go. And I slowly look at it. And I do it again. And as you probably can't see, but if I'm looking over it, just like put your eyes over it, I want it to be straight. If it's wobbling any shape or fashion, then it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work for me without more negotiation because it's going to cost me money to repair it. Now, usually I see this wobbling happen with people that are bigger, like they have a lot of weight on and they own bikes, and it makes the front or the back wobble, or people that have been abusing the bike, wheeling and stuff. But the way I teach it is that, buy pretty bikes. Buy the bikes that people bought, maybe use it 3 to 10 times, and then they never rode it again because they were sedentary. They never rode it again because they were obese, they were lazy, whatever. Okay, that wasn't their sport. You know, they had other stuff to do, watch TV, etc. Buy bikes from them. I don't buy bikes from professionals that beat their bikes up, okay? I'm buying beautiful bikes that hardly been used, okay? Now, I bought this bike brand new, and you know, I spent almost $2,000 for it at REI, and I showed the same exact trick to my brother, and he bought a 2018 beautiful bike with disc brakes, everything, for $190. So, you know, if I knew this strategy that I'm sharing with you just a couple of years ago, I would save myself thousands and thousands of dollars, because I bought myself a bike, I bought my better half a bike, 2 bikes, you know, and I spent so much money buying retail versus understanding what I'm showing you. Okay, so simply put, I didn't know anything about bikes. I still don't know anything about bikes. I sell all my bikes without doing any repairs as is, but I'm showing you what I look for when I buy a bike, and it hasn't done me wrong. Okay, so I look at the frame, I look at the wheels, make sure the wheels are okay. The next thing I want to do is I just want to pull this up and quickly hit the brakes and make sure it works. Okay, now that's not a big repair cost. I just want to make sure it works. Okay, I don't want to be riding it and then figuring out when there's a car in front of me that the brakes don't work. Okay, and I hit it. But those are simple and cheap repairs, but just for safety for myself. And the last thing I do is, so I do 3 things, is 4 things. The 4th thing I do is I check to make sure that the derailleurs work. And what is the derailleur? Well, the derailleur is this little part that changes the gears in the front and in the back. And one way I can do it is just write it, okay? The other way I can do it is have the seller hold the bike up for me, and I'll just turn and I have them switch it down, or I'll do like switch down. So I say to Mr. Seller, can you pull the seat up? He pulls the seat up, and then I'll just turn it. Because a lot of times when I go look at bikes, I really don't write it. I just examine it, do all the stuff, and it looks good to me because they're brand new bikes. I'm picking up beautiful bikes. I'm not picking up trash or beat up stuff. You know, I'm picking up really nice quality stuff that, for whatever reason, the seller's motivated because of lack of education, because they don't need it, they got too much money, whatever, and they need the money. There's so many different situations, okay? I can't just clump them all into one and I pick it up. So it's very, very simple, okay? Now, most of these bikes that I pick up are like almost new, all right? Some of them are being used, but very lightly. And so some of the things that I've seen is that, you know, the derailleur may need a tune-up. So when I go through it, it doesn't go up and down. But that's not a big thing unless the derailleur is broken. And what is the derailleur? That little piece. If that little piece broken, then of course that's going to cost a lot of money. But all it needs is a tune-up. Now, when I first started, I always took my bikes in. Still today, I don't even know how to do all this stuff. But I'll leave a couple of links for you guys to learn if you want to do it yourself, because after I've been riding for a while, and after I never did tune-up. But since I started hustling a couple of bikes for this experiment for you guys, I kind of figured out how to do the tune-up. But when I first did like 6 or 7 flips, I didn't even do a tune-up. I just sold it as is. Again, I bought it, I did my 3 things to it, which is clean it, give it a good description, and take amazing pictures, and I just sold it as is. I told the sellers, hey, all the gears, you may need a tune-up, okay? How much does a tune-up cost? Well, it depends what part of the country you're in, but on an average, you can spec anywhere from like 55 to 125, okay? 150, just depends. And you can learn how to do it yourself if this is the hustle you want to do on a regular basis. It doesn't take a lot of time. Bikes are very easy. It's not hard, but at the same time, you have to learn it. What to do, just like real estate, okay? It's not hard, but you got to know what to do and when to push the buttons, how much should you tighten it, etc., guys. Now, to wrap it all up, I buy the bikes. I don't really do anything to it. Even if it has a flat tire, I just sell it as a flat tire, okay? All right. A lot of the people you go and buy bikes from, they're probably going to have flat tires. And it's not the tires, the tube. The tube costs about $5 at Walmart or $10 at REI or something. That's normal, dude, because their bike's been sitting on the wall or on the ground for like 3 years or 5 years or 10 years because they bought a really, really nice expensive bike, $3,000 bike, and now it's been sitting in the garage forever. Hasn't got any use for it. But yeah, the tires may be rotten, or the tires may be flat, or they just may need air. The air got out of it. There's many bikes that I bought that I had to put air into it. That's it. The seller told me, yeah, man, the tires are bad. I took it home, put air into it, boom. It worked perfectly, dude. And there's some that I had to put tubes in because I wanted to ride it or let someone of my friends ride it. But besides that, if I wasn't going to ride it or have a friend ride, I would just sell it as is, okay? And disclose it to the seller and let them do it. What you'll realize is people will just come pick this up and take it to a bike shop and pay for the tune-up or get it fixed because I am giving them such a great deal. So I am buying it below wholesale and I sell it at wholesale price and no one else has it. Okay, and it's a great looking bike. I take great pictures of it, and I handpick what bikes I want to buy. So they're great looking bikes, and they're great bikes. So it's a no-brainer. Okay, I'm selling bikes for way cheaper than the store because I am buying it for only motivated sellers, and my goal is to move units. And like I explained in my book, I do 3x. Okay, so I don't want to get into that because this is about the repair. But simply put, guys, 4 things, really. You want to check the frame. You quickly tell if it's broken. You want to check the tires, make sure the rims, they're not bent, because if they're wobbling, then it's going to cost you money. So you got to renegotiate or walk out of the deal. I check the brakes just for safety for myself so I can let the seller, the next buyer know. And I check to make sure that the derailleurs work. Now, sometimes they're not going to go into gear properly, but I'm just going to check it to make sure that they're not broken because to tune them up are very, very easy, guys. So that's about it, dude. I buy beautiful bikes. I don't do any repairs to them, and then I sell them, okay, fast and for decent profit. Sometimes they're home runs. Sometimes they're 3 basers, 2 basers, and 1 basers, but whatever it is, 3x is my minimum that I'm willing to exit the deal, okay? Hustle and bustle. Thank you.